When cherry blossoms fall, something tightens in your chest. Have you ever felt that? You stand there watching petal after petal drift down on the wind, and somewhere inside you, a quiet sadness rises. It's ending, you think, and yet just moments ago, your heart was soaring at the sight of them. Beautiful things sometimes make us sad, but that doesn't mean something is wrong with you. If anything, it means your heart is fully, beautifully alive. Today I'd like to talk about the nature of beauty itself. This isn't a complicated teaching, but when you've heard it, the world around you may look just a little different. That's the kind of story this is. As you listen, try to hold in your mind one moment, just one, when you looked at something and thought, that is beautiful. A monk I knew spent 40 years tending a small garden, and on the day he died, his students asked him what he had learned. He said only, "The moss grows, and I grow old watching it." They did not understand until later, when they realized he was not two separate things, the watcher and the watched, but one breath moving through both. This is where beauty lives, not in the object itself, but in the space between you and what you see, where the boundary dissolves like mist. About 2,500 years ago, in a town in India, there lived a young man who was deeply in love. His fiancée was known throughout the region for her beauty, her long dark hair, her clear bright eyes, her smile like an open flower. To him, she was the most beautiful thing in the entire world. But one day, this young man encountered the Buddha, and in a turn he never expected, he entered the path of a monastic. He became a monk. And yet no matter how hard he tried, he could not stop thinking about her. In quiet moments of practice, her face would rise before him. The Buddha knew. One day the Buddha said gently, "Come, walk with me." And so the two of them set off together toward the hills. Along the way, they passed a scorched field. There, sitting on a rock, was an old female monkey, her fur thin and worn, her face deeply lined, her eyes quietly lifted toward the empty sky. The Buddha asked softly, "Between your fiancé and this creature, which is more beautiful?" The young man answered without hesitation, "My fiancé by far." The Buddha nodded, and they walked on. Eventually they arrived at a place unlike any other, a vantage point set to look out over the heavenly realms. And there, beings of extraordinary radiance moved in quiet stillness, wrapped in a light that had no name. The Buddha asked again, "Between your fiancé and those luminous beings, which is more beautiful?" The young man was silent for a long time. Then slowly he said, "There is no comparison. In the presence of that light, even my beloved would seem like the old monkey on the rock." The Buddha smiled, gently, without triumph, and he said, "That is right. Beauty is not something to be compared. The moment we begin to compare, beauty disappears." The young man stood there in silence for a long while, eyes lifted to the sky. In that moment, something shifted within him, not a thought, but a settling, like dust finally coming to rest. When he returned to the monastery, he no longer saw her face in his meditation. Instead, he saw the old monkey, and the luminous beings, and his own breath, all shimmering with the same inexplicable beauty. He had learned what no amount of longing could have taught him, that the heart, when it stops choosing, begins to see. So what can we take from this story? The Buddha was not saying that the young man's fiancée was no different from an aging monkey. That was never the point. There was no cruelty in his teaching. What the Buddha was pointing to was this: the moment we begin to compare, beauty vanishes. The young man believed his fiancée was the most beautiful person in the world. But was that beauty something he felt when he simply looked at her? Or was it something that depended on her being ranked above everyone else? Was he seeing her, or was he measuring her? In Buddhism there is a word, impermanence. It sounds like a heavy philosophical idea, but its meaning is wonderfully simple. Everything changes, everything flows. Flowers bloom, then fall. Youth shines, then softens into age. A clear sky fills with clouds, then rain. Every hello carries within it a goodbye. Nothing holds its shape forever. This is impermanence, and the Buddha teaches us the very heart of beauty lives inside this constant change. Why are cherry blossoms so beautiful? Would they move us the way they do if they bloomed all year round? It is precisely because they fall, because they are fleeting, because this moment is the only moment, that we stop walking and look up. Because we know they will be gone, we try to hold them in our eyes. That is what beauty is. When we stop comparing, we begin to see things as they truly are. Not more beautiful than that, not less lovely than before, just here, just now, just shining. Beauty does not live in the object, it lives in the heart that can receive it. I believe that is what the Buddha was quietly teaching that day, not a lesson about rank or comparison, but an invitation to simply see. A merchant once asked a master potter why his bowls sold for so little. The potter picked up a perfect vessel and dropped it on stone. It shattered instantly. Then he held up a cracked ancient bowl that had been mended a dozen times. This one, he said, people have chosen to keep for generations. They see it not as broken but as honest. The merchant finally understood. The moment we stop demanding that beauty be flawless, we begin to truly possess it. Let's bring this a little closer to home, to the ordinary days we actually live. Think about your work for a moment. You wake at the same hour, walk the same route, arrive at the same place. What once felt new gradually becomes routine, and when something becomes routine, we stop noticing it's there. But what if tomorrow, that workplace no longer existed? What if today were the last time you walked that familiar road? Something would shift. The way light falls on the leaves outside the window, the coldness of the morning air on your face, a colleague's small, unremarkable smile. Suddenly, these things would glow. The same is true in our relationships. The people we've known the longest become little by little people we take for granted. Their presence starts to feel automatic, and when that happens, we stop seeing them. We start seeing only their flaws, their habits that wear on us. This happens to almost everyone, and then one day they're gone, and we finally understand. They mattered so much more than we knew. The Buddhist teaching is not learn to appreciate things only after you lose them. It is, see the beauty in them now, before they are gone. Comparison, too, gets in the way. When we spend our energy measuring our families, our relationships, our lives against others, the person standing right in front of us grows blurry. We stop seeing them clearly, and we do this to ourselves too. Less capable than that person. Not as young as I used to be. I was better before. That kind of constant comparison slowly blinds us to the beauty that already exists within us, right now. Today, when you look in the mirror, or when you look at someone you love, try just for a moment to stop comparing. Simply receive what is there, simply see. Beauty will be waiting, because this moment will never come again, because the face you see today belongs only to today. Impermanence does not diminish things, it is the very thing that makes them shine. There is only one thing I want to leave with you today. It is beautiful because it will fade. Please tuck that somewhere in your heart. Grief and joy, meeting and parting, the brightness of youth, and the quiet grace of growing older, all of it is always moving, always changing. That is not loss. That is life. The fact that you are changing means you are here, still living, still breathing, still present. The color of the sky you saw today, the sound of someone's voice, the temperature of the wind against your skin, these belong to today, and today alone. Tomorrow they will already be something different, and that is why this moment is beautiful. Thank you for being here with me today. The fact that you carry a heart that can be moved by beauty, that alone makes you something extraordinary. Please receive your own beauty just as it is, without comparison, without condition. May your day be gentle. I watched an old woman in the garden this morning, running her fingers along a cherry blossom that had already begun to brown at the edges, and she was smiling, really smiling, as if she held something precious that she knew she could never keep. That is what it means to truly see. When you stop waiting for permanence, and instead meet each thing exactly as it appears, you discover that everything, even this breath, even this moment of listening together, is already a gift complete in itself.